Welcome everybody. My name is Joshua Johnston. I am the president of the Governor's Distinguished Managers Association. We've got a pretty packed agenda today. So I'm going to start us off and introduce Taja Blackhorn, who is going to do our land acknowledgement. Taja?
Seka Korisa, Ariska Isuar. Hello, what a wonderful snowy day. Be welcomed, be honored, everyone. Sukwata Jordan Blackhorn, Katina Nikwa Kosilito. Lumachi Itia Ekewa. Hello, my name is Taja Blackhorn. I am a spirit singer of the Kosilita people of Southern Oregon, honored by the Cougar Spirit. Sukwa Umachi Martin, Kas Halik, Kas Vera Awatikwa Upe. Sukwa Ani Karama, Kas Kunapsi. I am the child of Martin, the grandchild of Halleck, great-grandchild of Vera Many Husbands, and she did earn that name. I am also the mother of Karama and Fox Blackhorn. Our traditional introduction protocols include 5 generations, and I wish to share this protocol with you today, both as a measure of respect and as an educational cultural insight. For it casts light on the importance of weaving together the past, the present, and the future, for none stand on their own, and decisions made now should include considerations for generations yet unborn. Washington's Capitol campus and the Governor's Mansion stand on the traditional homelands of the Medicine Creek Treaty Tribes. But as we join together this virtual medium, not all of us are standing or living within the borders of the same traditional homelands. As we attend these meetings virtually from places close and places wide-flung, I'm asking that you share in this experience for yourself. Lead the way to strengthen the bridge between our peoples. Take a moment to say thank you to the people whose traditional homeland you stand on in this moment. And if you do not know who they are right now, that's okay. Take a quick moment to learn, because there is an app for that. I put it also in the chat. Text 907-312-5085. Enter the town you're working in, living, hiking, or even vacationing in, and it will provide you with the name of the indigenous peoples whose traditional homelands you are currently on. I'll grant the app is not perfect. After all, it does not list my people, but it's a small step, an important step. It makes us visible in your piece of the narrative. It acknowledges that we are still here while helping to build the intersectional bridge in your mind's eye. When you acknowledge by saying thank you, it helps you make you an active part of the solution, leading by example. I myself have lived over half my life in the traditional homelands of the Medicine Creek Treaty Tribes, moving here when I married into a Squaxin family. For the generosity and welcome I have received, I am thankful, and I will always offer that generosity and hospitality back to the people, the spirits, and the lands that are my host and family. Too often, people view tribal identities as a thing of the past. When tribes and traditional homelands are even mentioned, that narrative is supported by offering a moment of silence for the victims of colonization. But the tribal people whose identities, communities, and beliefs are shaped and defined by the relationship with the lands on which we stand on today are still here. We are still here. This is why I find it's important in land acknowledgements to emphasize the traditional importance of hospitality and sharing knowledge, because we don't know what we don't know. You hopefully will be exposed to many different native land acknowledgements in the times to come, each presenter sharing a gift of their own language, style, content, reasoning, and messages. So as my gift of knowledge, I thought I would share how and why I present land acknowledgements the way I do. I will post into the chat box the list as well, for how it will help others present respectful acknowledgements in the future. First, I usually recognize the land by the people of the treaty and how I am related to them. The reason I do this is because it recognizes tribal entities as nations who have nation-to-nation agreements with the United States. This is not to say all indigenous nations have a current federally recognized status. For example, acknowledgements for Seattle should include the Duwamish, although their federal recognition lasted but for a single day. Indigenous identities are political, cultural, and racial in nature, so it's always best to incorporate as many of these factors as possible. It also envelops and includes the individual identities that exist or existed, even if their current outside public recognition is via confederated names, like the Squaxin, or several different tribal nations under one known name. It provides a touch point with a recognized name, so those who are interested in learning more can research that deeper information. versus people feeling overwhelmed by individual tribal names and turning away from a potential learning opportunity. In the land acknowledgement itself, I include 5 elements. 1, we recognize the traditional homeland aspect for the Indigenous people. This is part of our identities that is inseparable from who we are. This relationship is our past, our present, and our future. It is our relatives, our breath. It flows in and through us, inseparable from ourselves. Even if we are not currently residing in our traditional homelands, like myself or other urban Indians, we still feel that connection. 2, be sure to say thank you. It's so simple and so important. 3, recognize and call out that the Indigenous peoples of the land are still here. Do not use past tense to describe us. 4, acknowledge the importance of hospitality and generosity between peoples. This is an integral part of our culture and something that's beneficial to all the people of Washington. 5, share a positive current educational point that links the past, the present, and the future, for none stand on their own. Some examples could be the annual Intertribal Canoe Journey, which has included canoe families from Washington, Oregon, Canada, and even as distant as New Zealand. Or the Salmon Defense, a nonprofit endeavor established by the 20 Western Washington City Tribes in 2003. Their work envisions a healthy environment for all of the region's inhabitants now, and looking into the future by addressing the need for a 100-year vision plan for salmon as a keystone species of the Pacific Northwest. Or even the Social Distance Powwow, an adaptation to a COVID world, which provides cultural and language preservation and expansion, social and cultural support, economic marketplace, skill and knowledge building, celebrations, and so much more. Because we don't know what we don't know, whereas sharing knowledge builds bridges between people, inspires curiosity and future growth, supports positive self-identity, and creates cultural awareness and protection, and in some cases, even cultural revitalization and reclamation. But land acknowledgements are more than a list of boxes to be ticked. It's just a starting point. It's creating an open space where we can learn and grow. This moment of lived present is ultimately about recognition, being seen as a full and true human being, entitled to being included in the general consciousness and the societal narrative. This is important beyond words for any who have been treated as less than. Welcome these moments, create a new narrative, a narrative of coming together, support one another, and create an inclusive space where specialized knowledge and history becomes part of our everyday. Advocating for support and to build a better community, a better society, a better common future. That common future is the link that connects all of us standing together on this day, on these sacred and loved lands. Thank you for making life a better place to be and leading by example. Thank you, be well, be welcomed, and be happy.
Thank you, Taja. That was incredible. I really appreciate that. I would also like to, February is Black History Month. We have a special speaker, Marcus Glasper, is going to do a tribute to Black History Month. Marcus is the director at Washington's Lottery and the executive sponsor of BUILD. So with that, I'll turn it over to Marcus.
Thank you, Josh, and GDA members for acknowledging Black History Month on your agenda and inviting me to provide a short tribute in its recognition. And I also just want to acknowledge and thank Taja for that beautiful land acknowledgement. So although Black history is all of our history, Black History Month has historically been a time when Blacks and African Americans can take time out to learn what our ancestors fought for in this country, since so much of that important history was left out and continues to be left out of American history. But it has also been a time of rejoicing, celebrating, honoring, and thanking those same ancestors for the central role they played in US history, but more importantly, for giving hope. Black History Month grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans in 1926. It is said that the first celebration of Black History Month took place at Kent State University in February of 1970. Then, 6 years later, in 1976, 50 years from the first celebration of Negro History Week, President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every endeavor throughout our history. So Negro History Week, Black History Month, African American History Month. So why is this time that we have specifically set aside so important? Well, it is important because it is part of the untold story. Even as a Black kid myself, growing up in the Deep South, Louisiana to be specific, my formal primary and secondary education did not afford me the privilege of learning about the contributions of Black Americans, with the exception of a few notable figures such as Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, maybe. So I learned most of that history through my church, actually. I quickly realized that much of Black history is left out of his story. Regardless of what we call it, we know that this time is still important because recognizing that Black history is American history remains a challenge. And so we pay special honor and tribute to those upon whose shoulders we stand. Even though slavery undermined the entire foundation of America since the first slaves were brought to America in 1619, Black Americans have persevered through the struggles. They found a way out of no way. Slavery, the abolition movement, emancipation, which led to the Civil War, where 2.4 million were killed and over 4 million slaves freed, the Reconstruction era, and other key milestones in American history. We honor the contributions of folks like Crispus Attucks, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Benjamin Banneker, and Harriet Tubman. For the 20th century civil rights movement, we pay homage to many like W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks. In entertainment and cultural influences such as jazz and the Harlem Renaissance, we pay tribute to figures like Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane, and the sometimes called father of jazz, Buddy Bolden. In sports, science, and medicine, and inventions, we honor the likes of Jackie Robinson, Wilma Rudolph, Charles Drew, the Flying Black Medics, Garrett Morgan, and Madam C.J. Walker. In government, we must not forget about the contributions of those like Hiram Revels as the first Black U.S. Senator and PBS Pinchback, or even those right here in our own backyard, such as early settlers George Washington Bush, who settled upon Bush Prairie, and his son William Owen Bush, who actually helped write some of the first state laws in Washington. And while these names typically rise to the top when we pay tribute to Black History Month, we know that the foundation of African-American life is complex. And it is also true that we must celebrate the untold contributions and sacrifices of our grandmothers and grandfathers and lineage ancestors. For this reason, it is only fitting that the National Black History Month theme for 2021 is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity, because we know that the family in all its forms offers a rich tapestry for exploring both the African-American past and the present. So as we pay tribute to Black History Month, and in particular, the Black family, I invite you to take part in at least one activity this month that will provide you with cultural enrichment in honor of Black history and allow you to learn something about that untold story. One invitation among many, which many of you may have already seen through Josh's email, is to attend the Black History program sponsored by the Blacks United in Leadership and Diversity, or BUILD Business Resource Group. It is occurring on February 18th from 9 a.m. to noon, where the guest speaker will be Angelique Davis, Associate Professor of Political Science and Director of the Global African Studies Program at Seattle University. So thank you for carving out a few minutes on your GDMA agenda today to honor Black History Month, because there is no human history without Black history. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marcus. That was completely informing, inspiring, and gives us all a place to plug in here in this month. And I really appreciate it. So thank you. Without next steps, I'd like to go over a few logistics, and then I'll introduce our guest speaker today. We are placing everyone on mute as they come into the group today. If you have something that you want to share, please use the chat function, and we will call on you and then give you the opportunity to ask that directly of Renee. Other than that, you can also raise your hand. That function is right below in the reactions tab below here if you're using Zoom for the first time. We know that the remote meetings can be a little bit challenging, so we just ask everybody if they can to be on video. It helps our guests to feel a little more engaged and helps us all engage with each other and our experiences. And if you choose to, you can turn on your video and it's hard, you can also disconnect from the VPN, which will make it a little less cumbersome on your network. I hope I got all that. Normally Josh does that and he's much better at it than I am. So with that, I would love to introduce everyone to Renee. And of course, I'm having a technical challenge myself right now, which is interesting. So sorry, just one quick second, you guys. I'm actually having a technical challenge and I can't get out of it. So that's too bad. So sorry, Renee, I had this all planned out, didn't quite work out. So I'd like to introduce you to Renee. Renee works for Department of Enterprise Services and also for Renee, I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. For the governor's office, it's cool. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah. And she's amazing, an amazing speaker, and now the owner and CEO of Work. Renee, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. I know I've had that happen so many times this year. We probably all have had where we've got it all ready to go, and then the tech goes down. So it's all good. We'll launch in. So I'm so happy to be with you all today, and thank you, Yvonne and Josh, and I want to just pause too and thank Taja and Marcus for those beautiful introductions and orienting us and placing us solidly in this this present moment with honor to tribal lands and elders and history and current and present reality, and Marcus to Black History Month, and really beckoning us to dig in and learn more. So thank you for that. It's super important. And in watching people come on the call and just seeing your names, I'm seeing so many friends and faces and former colleagues from when I worked at DES and when I worked in the governor's office at Results Washington. And I'm super happy to be here to share with you today. So I'm going to share slides and we're going to jump right in. So here we go. Cross your fingers on the tech, my friends. I will tell you as I'm getting this up and the screen's coming, all of a sudden about 10 minutes ago, the person came around my building and started with the leaf blower. And I went out and waved my arms and said, please no leaf blowing. So these are the things that happen. So today we're here, I'm here with you to talk about loving government leaders. And I'm bringing this message to you with love from me and my organization, A Human Workplace. I'm here to talk to you about this, whether you are a formal leader as a supervisor or manager or an executive, or you're an informal leader who leads by influence. Today's session is for you. It's about government leaders showing love to your teams, and it's about bringing love to you as a government leader. I know that the challenges that you're up against are many, as well as the opportunities, and I know firsthand your commitment to public service. If you're a leader in government today, you're facing multiple unparalleled and significant challenges, delivering mission critical services within the context of restrictive public health measures, supporting weary, distracted, anxious, remote, or dislocated workforces, teams who have growing physical and emotional and mental health needs. You're trying to support team members who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are traumatized and exhausted by systemic racism. likely working to expand equity and inclusion of all marginalized people, facing a society that often belittles public service, and all while managing your own stress and trauma and overwhelm and perhaps health challenges too. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And so my goal is that you leave here today feeling loved and that you can all take a little bit more love back to your teams wherever they are and wherever you are. I want to begin today by sharing three powerful principles of loving leadership that I want to be sure that you take away. These are kind of the foundation and core of a human workplace and the work that we do with leaders and teams. And then that's going to be a brief teaching segment, and then we're going to move into an experiential time together. So the first principle of loving leadership is that we need to shrink fear. We need to shrink fear. It's our job as leaders to shrink fear. And I saw Chris Liu on this call, and he, or on the Zoom, and I know he's here today. And it was a conversation with Chris that really started this this whole ball rolling for me when Chris declared to me that it was a leader's job to eliminate fear from the workplace. And so I'm kind of boil that idea down into the need for us to shrink fear. So this means decreasing the time when fear is used intentionally to motivate, because sometimes leaders do that, or unintentionally when we're not tuned into the impact of our actions on our team members. We want to shrink fear by minimizing the time when team members feel betrayed or humiliated or ashamed or isolated in a crisis, or sort of lost and confused in the midst of change, or left in the dark, or ignored or marginalized or dismissed or micromanaged, or impacted by implicit bias. All of these kinds of experiences create fear, and they cause people to withdraw and withhold and shut down, and sometimes even to just leave. It's not a good motivator. Fear is not a good motivator. It's demoralizing. And I've really never had anyone say, like, bring the fear, scare me, and I'm going to just give you my best work. Like, no one says that. I would never say that. I bet you would never say that. So, it doesn't work for anyone, really. We want to be challenged for sure. We want to be stretched over the edge of our comfort zone. Absolutely. As long as it's, not set up for failure. That kind of thing, challenging me and helping me stretch and grow, that tells me you believe in me. But don't try to scare me into performing, because it's not going to work. It actually does more harm than good. The second powerful principle of loving leadership that I want to share with you today is that it's our job to expand love. Expand love. Now, that might seem kind of obvious, like, duh, of course a loving leader would expand love. But hear me out. It isn't just enough to shrink fear, but we have to actively expand love. And we can't take a neutral stance in between. Another way to think about this is that it's not like there's fear and love and then some middle place where in between where we can kind of be indifferent, because indifference isn't actually neutral. Indifference actually creates fear. There's a famous saying by Elie Wiesel, who said, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So I want to look at some ways that we can not only choose to shrink fear, but how we can actively expand love for members of our team. And the good news is that these things are not difficult. It doesn't take a lot of budget to give your energy and attention to these efforts. So here's three simple things that you can do. First thing, taking an interest in each person on your, each team member as a person. And this means knowing who they are and helping them to learn and advance and grow. The second thing is creating a team that feels like a healthy, caring family to people. Teams that are fun and connected and have celebration and work hard together for sure. And yes, probably eat together sometimes. Food comes in a lot in these kind of teams. So it takes some creativity during COVID to figure out how to do that. But these actions are important because this is how people feel connected and that there's a sense of belonging. And then the third thing is to support team members when they face a personal crisis. It used to be said, like, I want you to leave home at home and work at work and just come in and do your job, and I don't want to know about your personal stuff. And of course, what we know now is, and what we're in the middle of right now, is home and work are all overlapped and mixed up, and we are all in the midst of many layers of personal crises. And so our need to understand what our team members are facing and to be there for them and create support systems for them as we're in the midst of that is really important. People need to know that we have compassion and care and that we can give flexibility to support them in whatever they are facing. So when we act with love like this, when we create respect and trust and engagement and satisfaction and better physical health and higher performance, those things all result when we create actions that expand love. So the other thing I want to offer is that you don't have to do this alone, right? This isn't all on your shoulders, that you can activate your team to do this as well and to help you in this effort. So 3 things to consider when it comes to activating your team to increase and expand love, to shrink fear and expand love. One is that you can activate any managers or supervisors who are underneath your leadership with explicit instructions to care for people. Don't assume that people will know that you want them to do this. We need to be explicit and make clear to people that you believe that these kinds of this kind of caring actions for people are the right things to do, that taking time to connect, that checking in on people, that making sure that people take a walk, maybe that they do a walk and talk over the phone with a colleague, that you have virtual coffee, and all of those kinds of actions and actions to cultivate team as well, that all of those actions are things that you see as valuable for supporting your team members and want your managers and supervisors to do. The second is to activate your team members with explicit instructions to care for each other. We have such dedication in public service to making sure that we are operating in an ethical way and that we're not misusing resources in any way, including the resources of our time. And so again, it's important to make explicit that caring for each other, during this time particularly, is a good use of public resources because it's going to enable us to do better work. Right? So being explicit about that is important with your team members. And then finally, a third thing is to activate those people on your team who are human-centered, empathetic employees. They are ready, right? They're your sensors who are always paying attention and connected in and know who's got a birthday coming up or who's concerned about something. And they just have the vibe of your team. And they can be an incredible resource to support you supporting your team right now. So let them know that you want them to unleash their empathy on the team, right? And that they can also be sensing and advising you about, it might be time to get together as a team, or it might be good to send a message out or to reach out, not in any way to betray any kind of personal information that they might know, but just to nudge good leader behaviors and good team opportunities in order to cultivate that care for people. So activate the team resources that you have. So shrinking fear, expanding love. And so here's the third principle of loving leadership, and that's you first. You first. You first means that you can't be the leader that you want to be if you are not taking care of yourself. You can't do the sustained leadership work that shrinking fear and expanding love for others without first shrinking the fear, your own fear response, your own stress, and all of the ramifications of of the threat conditions that you are under, and expanding your self-love. So you first. I know that you are experiencing all the same threats from COVID, from the racial reckoning, from all the social upheaval, and you are having the same fear and stress response in your nervous system. And so you need to care for you as well and cultivate relationships of mutual support with others to do that. So I want to share with you this quote and this idea that, we talk a lot about self-care right now, but I want to offer that self-care isn't an individual sport, it's a team sport, okay? And Emily and Amelia Nagoski are twin sisters who wrote the book Burnout. And they said this, that the cure for burnout cannot be self-care. It has to be all of us caring for each other. That self-care requires a bubble of protection of others who value your well-being just as highly as you do. So I want to just encourage you to build relationships of mutual self-care. You know, I worked with a leader this last year at the Department of Ecology who said it so well, as far as like you first goes. He pointed out that this is not a time for big projects or huge initiatives, that this is a time for most leaders to just be ready each day to show up for whatever is going to happen and to be there for their people, to be able to kind of hold everything together. And in order to do that, leaders need to be taking good care of themselves to lower their fear and stress. So we need to rest. We need to eat well. We need to exercise. Whatever form of meditation works for you. Drinking water, getting out of nature. This is important work of this time, you know, for you to do for yourself and in care in a, you know, collaboration with others, so that we can hold it together and be there for people. So here's the experiential part that I want to dive into. Today, we're going to spend the balance of our time in some activities that are going to strengthen your self-care. So I'm going to stop sharing slides, and I want to just give you an experience today of that care. So we're going to begin, let's see here. We're going to begin with a grounding exercise. And so with a centering and grounding exercise. And so I just invite you to get comfortable in your chair, okay? Sit up nice and straight and tall, but let your seat back support you. Feel your feet on the floor, hands on your lap. And you can close your eyes if you like, or cast them down. If you're on video, you can turn it off if you need to, but everybody's gonna have their eyes closed anyway, so it'll be fine. And then feel your feet on the ground and the head on your head on the top of your spine. And just become aware of your normal breath. Hear and feel that normal breath coming in and out of you. And just feel how it is to just slow down for a moment. And now I want to invite you to take a nice deep breath into a count of 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one more time, inhale and hold and exhale. And slowly just let the front of your body settle and relax, and let your shoulders soften and settle with gravity, kind of as if your body's hanging on a hanger. And now I just want to invite you to think of someone who makes you smile. Not in a sense of comedy really, but rather with appreciation or love. And imagine them standing right next to you. And notice the connection that you sense between that person and your heart. And now if you wish, you could place your hand on your heart, over your heart, and just allow yourself to become aware of your heart and aware of the love that flows to you from the universe, and from this person in your life. And notice what this feels like. Perhaps you have a sense of peace or love or compassion or joy. And consider that you always have access to your heart and to this feeling, no matter what's happening in the world. And with a nice deep breath, I just invite you to hold on to that feeling and open your eyes when you're ready. All right. And now I want to gift you with a poem to sort of set us up for this next segment. This poem is called "Everything is Waiting" by David White. Your great mistake is to act the drama as if you were alone, as if life were a progressive and cunning crime with no witness to the tiny hidden transgressions. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. Surely even you at times have felt the grand array, the swelling presence and the chorus crowding out your solo voice. You must note the way the soap dish enables you, or the window latch grants you freedom. Alertness is the hidden discipline of familiarity. The stairs are your mentors of things to come. The doors have always been there to frighten you and invite you. And the tiny speaker in the phone is your dream ladder to divinity. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. The kettle is singing even as it pours you a drink. The cooking pots have left their arrogant aloofness and have seen the good in you at last. All the birds and creatures of the world are unutterably themselves. Everything is waiting for you. So we're going to take and Yvonne will do this for 12 minutes, okay? We're going to take 12 minutes to go into breakout sessions. And here's what's going to happen. Breakout sessions, as we practice them with the human workplace, are a time to hold space for each other and find comfort and peace in being witnessed and heard. So it's our practice to ask you to give each other uninterrupted time to speak, to take turns for uninterrupted time to speak, and to offer generous listening to each other. So I'm going to give you a question in just a moment, and then you're going to be taken automatically into breakouts of 3 or 4 people. When you arrive, introduce yourselves to each other, and then pick someone to begin and someone to keep time. And here's the structure. So if you have 3 people in your breakout, you'll have about 3 minutes a person. And if you, with a 12-minute breakout, so that'll leave a little room on each end. And if you have 4 minutes in a breakout, you're going to have about 2.5 minutes a person. Okay. And then if it's your turn to speak, we just invite you to share uninterrupted your response to the reflection question that I'll share with you in just a moment. And just know that it's okay to have a little silence while you think. People find these times a time to just kind of hear themselves. It's not very often that we just get to have time to think and speak without being interrupted. So that will be the speaking part. And if you're in the listening role, when you're listening, your job is to just offer supportive, generous listening without any problem solving or advice offering. You're just witnessing. You may hear perspectives that are different from your own. That's all right. It's not a time for discussion or debate, but to just provide empathy and respect. And so here's the question, and I will pop this into the chat if I can get myself going here. The question that I'd like you to answer is, what is your current situation as a leader and as a person, and how do you feel about it? What's your current situation as a leader and as a person, as a human, and how do you feel about it? And so I'm going to pop that in the chat. Your chat should follow you into your breakout. Okay. And with that, you should be whisked away. Enjoy your breakout, and we'll see you after 12 minutes.
In 12 minutes. Everyone's moving now. Thank you.
Good job, Yvonne.
We're getting there.
We're good. Yeah. Sometimes it can take people a little bit longer to get whisked away. Clarice. Oh, I'm seeing so many familiar names and faces. It's great.
I don't know if for the people who are left here, if looks like they're still moving.
So if you're still in the main room here, if you want to come on camera and let us know, that would be great, or come off mute and let us know. then maybe we can actually hold a session right here too. So Megan, David, Jim, and Ditto. If you are here, you can let us know, and we're happy to hold a breakout. This could be a breakout if you are here.
I apologize so much for the intro.
Oh my goodness. I have had that happen, like when the stuff is there and you can't get it to work or things freeze. No worries.
So both of my screens totally blacked out.
Oh my gosh.
Both
So
at the same
frustrating.
time. Renee, I'm like going, I couldn't even like figure out, like I was hoping it wasn't happening anywhere else, but I could hear you all talking. So I bumbled through it.
Oh, it's no worries at all. No worries. People have seen bios, you know, in the when they registered, and it's
I still don't like it.
That's all right. It was not your fault. And
That's not my it's not my style. That's okay. It's never perfect, right? And I think that this is the lesson the universe is continually teaching me. It's not going to be either.
No, it's not. It's okay. Megan, David, and Ditto, are you there? If you want to come off, mute, we are happy to have a conversation with you right here. I can't tell if you're here or not. So.
I think that they could be one of those dual things.
Oh, true.
That's where that comes out normally.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, I can also broadcast to all if we need to. I'm kind of looking at all the groups right now, seeing if there's anything that concerns me as far as how many people are in each group. And I'm not, so I see Ditto, it says is not joined. David Williams has not joined the group, like they're in a group, but they didn't join.
Okay.
So that's probably part of this process. And same with Megan. Yep, that's all three.
Okay. Okay.
And Renee, you're in your own group and I'm with you.
All right.
I'm going to be interested. I don't know if you've seen this from your other groups. How do these go for recording? Is it recording each individual group, or just our main screen? This part what we're in right now?
Yeah, I think we're just being recorded right now.
By the way, we'll edit all this out.
Awesome.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We do take editing rights.
Not a problem. Let me just get the music part keyed.
I felt that was so needed for what's happening right now.
What's that?
Just in the world right now, just how to breathe, how to engage, just really, really good.
Good.
Super interested to hear how people respond.
Yeah. You know, it's so, yeah, I was with about, I don't know, there were about 400 people in a group yesterday.
What was your, what group were you in, Renee? I want to follow you everywhere you go. Not in a creepy kind of way, I promise.
I was doing a 1 hour, just like a 1 hour workshop, I guess you call it. It was a gathering, but it was for about 400 people. And because when it gets to be that big, I can't do the breakouts.
Yeah.
So it was everything but the breakouts.
Wow.
And so I did, and it was on love, peace, and hope were the themes. And these were people who work in child support all across the country. So it's the child support, the National Child Support Workers Association. So I spoke at their conference in the fall to about 1,500 of them, and then they've had me back. So.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah, but you know, one of the common responses that people give is like, I didn't know how much I needed that. Right?
Yeah.
It's just
I'm going to be listening for that now.
Yeah.
I bet you that will be. That's how I felt. I needed the deep breath.
Yeah, and we need it all the time. It's available to us all the time too. That's the wonderful thing about our breath, is that it's not like we have to go get it somewhere.
Yeah,
it is here for us.
You don't have to go procure it. It's
exactly. Exactly. And I'm just gonna save this.
Love it.
Wanted to be sure and capture Taja's great hand acknowledgement tips.
Oh, wasn't it great? Yeah. And of course, I'll send you the video when we're done too. Okay. So we'll be able to utilize those again.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm going
It's all
to-
pretty moving. It's a moving day.
Yeah. There is a lot. Just gonna get some things set up here. I had to cut out a little bit short because just for timing's sake. So we'll get all the things in.
I know the starts up ran long, but it was so nice.
It was, yeah, and it was important. So I just made just a couple adjustments. We lost.
They're going to give me a countdown here too that I can share with you in a moment.
That'd
4
be
minutes. 4
Okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Not bad. Oh, it did not sound good.
And are they able to, they're not able to private chat us, right?
No.
Okay. Hey, Betsy.
Hi.
Hi there. Hi. Did you whisk
Hi.
away and come back?
Well, we had 3 people total. One person dropped right away and the other person just froze and left. So it was just me.
Oh dear. Well, so let's tell me, what's your situation? How are you as a leader and a person, dear?
Oh my goodness. I'm really good right now. Very, very, very good. Feel very good about my leadership. And you know, June, I'm retiring. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Both my husband and I, he's taught for 40 years. I've been in state service for 15 and I work K-12 for 15 and love my leadership role. I help to promote the love and belonging and I just sing your praises,
Yeah.
Renee, wherever I go.
Aw,
I'm always
you're so
sharing
kind.
information, your name. You just speak to me. When Lean was first introduced, I felt so
Aw.
strongly, you guys, I think you need to go for the people first. I think you need to talk about the people first, but oh, there's Tina. She's coming back.
Oh, good.
Welcome
Tina.
back, Tina.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My battery died. I was like, oh my God, what happened? You know, and
That's
then
what happened for me
remotely,
too.
it takes slow to get everything back up and running. So I'm so sorry, Betsy.
That's okay. That's all right.
We're glad you came back.
It's our world. It's our world today. So
It's true.
yeah.
It's true. So, well, Betsy, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm so excited for you for your retirement. That's
Yeah, thank you.
wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
And thank you for the support. That's awesome of you.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Dale, Louisa, how are you doing?
Good.
Good, good. Glad you rejoined us. Were you in a group and came back, got finished? Awesome.
Yeah, it was just the 2 of us. So
Okay, okay. So you were able to make good, good. All right. And how are things for each of you? Dale, how are you these days? How is your experience?
It's been challenging work-wise. It's the personal part. We talked about professional and personal, Louisa
Yeah.
and I did.
Yeah.
And there's been good parts of our, those of us inside our bubble have gotten to know each other much better, and that's been good. we miss our church. We miss that social connection.
Yeah, boy, I can identify with that. It's a funny thing. One of the ways, and we have an exercise about this actually that we do, that is like realizing that we've been sort of in the valley of grief about certain things and on the mountaintop of possibility and in some cases even joy all at the same time. Like it's mountaintop and valley, and sometimes within any 5-minute period, it's like both, it's a lot. And so there's beautiful things happening and there's really heartbreaking things happening. And so I think we have to be able to like hold all of that together with, with each other and just understand the reality of that.
Yeah, definitely. I know with my grandkids, we talk a lot about when COVID's over, what we're going to do. And we have this big laundry list going.
Oh, that's awesome. That's something to look forward to. Very cool.
Everyone's coming back.
All right.
Welcome back from your journey, everyone.
Whoosh. There you all are. Look at you. I've more faces now. I'm happy to see all your faces. And for those who can be on camera, it's great. Thank you. All right. So I think we've, is that everyone back? And you can see the
Nope, they're not quite all back.
Okay.
They're on their way.
Oh. Give it just a minute more to let everyone whoosh through that door. I always have this picture of everyone rushing back in through the doors in the DS training buildings in my mind when I'm coming back in Zoom. I hope those conversations were nourishing. If we had more time today, we'd take some time to hear from you, but I want to give you one last experience together to kind of put a bow on this and give you a few offers and share some things with you at the end as well. So this is sort of a little taste, right? And hopefully you found that encouraging as people are returning. One of the things that we really know and have experienced and seen in the couple hundred gatherings that we've hosted this last year is that connection is so essential for our emotional well-being, and that we can create that connection even in these kinds of environments. So breakouts and holding space to just listen and support each other and witness each other around the different aspects of this experience is really a powerful thing that we can do for each other. So, all right. So are we good?
We're good. I think we have everyone back.
Okay, great. So what I'd like to offer now is I'd like to just turn your attention to hope. And we were talking, a few of us at the end of the breakout, about how there's some beautiful things happening along with some really difficult things happening all at the same time. And one of the things that can be so important is to just turn our attention and hold on to hope. So my invitation to you is this. I'm going to put the question in the chat here. As you look ahead to this year and beyond, what hopes do you hold? What hopes do you hold? And I just invite you to put in the chat your hopes. Just journal right into the chat anything that you'd want to share about your hopes, and just enjoy for the next couple minutes reading and expressing your hope. And I'm going to give you a little music to do that by. Yvonne, let me know if the volume needs to be adjusted as we go, okay?
Will do.
Okay, so please go ahead and begin to chat your hopes.
I remember when I was just a boy, Mama said this world was not always paradise. And there are things we'll try to take away your pride. Sometimes to show your love, you've got to fight. But hey, she said to never run away. You got to stand up tall and look it in the eye. And hey, I will survive another day. And I will hold on to this light until the day I die. So don't you give up on me, and I won't give up on you. And do you have faith in me? 'Cause you know that I still believe in what we've got. One love, one life, throw your hands up high. All I'm trying to do is stay human with you. Stay human with you. until the day I die. So don't you give up on me. Don't you give up on me. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Do you have faith in me? Oh, do you have faith in me? 'Cause you know that I still believe in what we've got. One love, one life, throw your hands up high. It's all I'm trying to do is stay human with you. Stay human with you. I know we'll weather the storm, not even nuclear war could ever stop me from speaking the truth. Don't you give up on me. Don't you give up on me. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Do you have faith in me? Oh, do you have faith in me? 'Cause you know that I still believe in what we've got. One love, one life, throw your hands up high. It's all I'm trying to do is stay human with you. One love, one life, throw your hands up high. It's all I'm trying to do is stay human with you. One love, one life, throw your hands up high. It's all I'm trying to do is stay human with you. One love, one life, throw your hands up high. It's all I'm trying to do is stay human with you.
All right. Man, you people are inspiring. Look at all that hope. That is just beautiful. You give me such a tremendous amount of hope and boost in the things that you're holding. And both like the connection and looking for more kindness and just creating a better world. Essentially, the descriptions of how this world can be better as we move forward is really profound. So thank you for that. I hope you find that hope encouraging, that you take this away today and are really nourished by it. I know that we're right at time, and I want to give you just a couple things in follow up. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in the chat and speak to that. Let's see. We experienced a bunch of well-being practices, even in just the 30 minutes when we sort of kicked into the experiential piece. And the first link that I sent there that has lift up at the end, the Make Work More Human, the summary of well-being practices, that link lists 10 practices for well-being and some of the science behind it that you can think about and work to incorporate into your daily life and into your work in teams. So I wanted to provide that as a resource to you. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, that resource is there as well. We're also next week, I'm in the middle of completing a resource on creating connections, a guide to easy, essential ways to build human relationships on your team. If you'd like to receive that, you can email me at renee@makeworkmorehuman.com and I'll send that to you when it comes out. And then finally, some of you may be ready to strengthen your loving leadership practices, like to really dive in and embrace that. Maybe you've seen what fear can do, and you've maybe experienced it yourself and have decided and maybe are already making steps that that is not what you want, that you want to be a different kind of leader, a more loving leader. And so what I want to offer is if you are, sort of wanting to lean into that journey, that we offer breakthrough sessions on that. And to GDMA, we've set aside 5 free sessions that are loving leadership breakthrough sessions. And if you want to, if that's you, if that like resonates as something that you're ready to do, you can email me and just put breakthrough in the subject. And the first 5 that I get emails from, we'll schedule one of those sessions for you. And that will be a time, there'll be a questionnaire to fill out. And lots of times people have breakthroughs just in filling out the questionnaire, right? And just the reflection of that. And then we'll have a conversation for an hour and try to help you take a step in having a breakthrough in your own loving leadership. So just let me know if that's you, would love to talk with you. So. With that, I just want to wish you love and peace and health and safety. And just encourage you to go forth and make work more loving and human. So thank you.
Thank you, Renee. It was super inspiring, and I think everyone feels like it was the deep breath that we all needed.
Good.
Thank you so very much.
Keep breathing. Yeah.